This is Dan of Vagabond Buddha. I'm going to show you videos of Malacca, Malaysia as I discuss why I believe it's a good place to retire cheap. But no need to take notes. Everything I say is in writing. Just click the link in the notes below this YouTube video to get Malacca, Malaysia, livability factors, cost of living, best areas to stay, best tours, cheapest flights, Old Town walking tour, nightlife, best food and experiences, and facts and history about Malacca, Malaysia. This is my Malacca, Malaysia retired cheap guide. I was last here about 3 years ago. 𝐂𝐒𝐒 of Hobo Ventures is here with me. You can follow her on Instagram at 𝐂𝐒𝐒. We came to Malacca from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Malacca is about 60 miles by bus from Kuala Lumpur. There's a link here to the bus station in Kuala Lumpur. And the bus costs 10 ringgit, or about $2.50 to get here from KL. The hotel we stayed at in Malacca included a free shuttle service that picked us up from the bus station. Honestly, I was thinking I would visit Malacca as a courtesy to you so you could learn about it. From my memory of my visit here 3 years ago, I didn't think I would want to live here per se. But my memory was that there wasn't enough going on here to keep me interested for more than a few months per year. So I was surprised by how much more I'm interested in Malacca after this visit. I think I could live here now. We just arrived last night. Actually, at the time I typed that, now it's about 2 weeks later. But I've been pleasantly impressed by all of the colorful art along the waterfront and the increased number of places that are embracing the sidewalk cafe culture. It seems that Malacca has figured out what makes a place interesting to foreigners. Malaysia has been considered a top retired cheap and paradise country for years. Malaysia is known for spicy foods and charming colonial era buildings with rich cultural heritage. All of that is true in Malacca also. Malacca also includes a focus on the arts and culinary choices, and as such is growing up to be a distinct competitor for Penang and KL, the other two big tourist spots in Malaysia. Of course, there are many other cool little spots in Malaysia, such as Sabah, Langkawi, and the Perhentian Islands. More on that later. KL also remains popular for many reasons. KL continues to hold its own for people that prefer a larger international city with all the diversity and choices that implies. There are a few other Malaysian destinations worth consideration that I'll be reporting to you in the coming weeks. All of my reports on the best retired cheap and paradise locations in the world are located here on Vagabond Buddha, link provided on the webpage. I'm a digital nomad. I'm investigating the best retired cheap and paradise locations in the world. If you'd like to learn how to live in a paradise location for possibly less money than you're spending at home, or the various ways people make money online, grab a free copy of my ebook, How to Fire Your Boss and Travel the World. I also recently published a report of the best 10 countries to retire cheap. You can also get that for free. Just come to the webpage at the link below this YouTube video and click whatever report you're interested in. There are certain factors I consider when thinking about moving or living somewhere. Each factor is assigned a high, medium, or low. High means good, medium means okay, and low means unacceptable. Walkability, that's one of my livability factors. Here is high. The interesting areas of Malacca are all within walking distance of each other. Check out our walking tour map below. If you need to go anywhere else, they do have public transportation, but we didn't use it since everything we wanted to see was in walking distance. Grab car is the equivalent of Uber here in this part of the world. It's super cheap. A grab car from the bus station to our hotel would have been about 8 ringgit, about $1.75, $2. But our hotel link provided below included pickup and drop-off. Stay away from the taxis in Malacca. Most of them are nice people, but a few will charge you an outrageous fare. The taxi stand at the bus station even yelled at us when they heard we were using the free hotel shuttle. When you use GrabCar, make sure you're not standing next to a taxi driver. They might get angry and yell at you. Okay, the internet. internet is high. The Nomad list said that Malacca had a 13 megabits per second internet speeds. This probably means that the results I experienced in my hotel in the first week were not typical for the area. In our hotel, the first test showed 4 megabits per second download and 0.5 megabits per second upload speed. Not great. The AT&T speed test based in the US wouldn't even register test results. That was a local test. I tested the hotspot on my Samsung smartphone. My smartphone Hotlink SIM card was 5.5 megabits down and 4.3 megabits upload speeds. I bought my smartphone card at the KL airport when we landed for 80 ringgit, about $20 for a 1-month service, which is a 10 gigabyte at 4G speed, so it's a great backup. The second week in Malacca, we stayed at an Airbnb. The internet here was lightning fast. I'm sitting there now. 12 megabits per second download speed and 47 megabits per second upload speed. No, I didn't get those backwards. Obviously, if speed is required for your business, you'll need a high-speed internet router. So grab an Airbnb, an apartment for that purpose. Food, high, totally livable. We decided to get a cheap hotel while in Malacca in the middle of the action the first week and eat in local restaurants instead of getting an Airbnb and cooking at home. This turned out to be a good decision food-wise. We've been to Malacca before, so we came here just to create this retired cheap information for you. Since we were only here for 4 days, we decided we needed to gather restaurant data for you, so we didn't cook at home, we just ate out. Just like in Penang, Malaysia, we were able to find Mama's local restaurants with delicious, cheap food. I'll cover this more fully in the restaurant section below. We had a South Indian breakfast today that was a 10 ringgit or $2.50 for both of us. Delicious, it's in the list. Last night we had Chinese food for 18 ringgit, about $4.50 for the two of us. These are local restaurants with the local prices. If you eat in tourist restaurants, you'll pay about 80 ringgit or 20 USD for 2 people. And the food will not be as good, in my opinion. There's several restaurants, vegetarian restaurants, we had buffet meals at for $1.50 per person per meal. Though I've added those to the restaurant list below also. The weather here, the weather to me is high, very desirable. The year-round average for the day ranges 32 Celsius to 90 Fahrenheit in March, down to 30 Celsius or 87 Fahrenheit in August. Not much variance in the temperature. The year-round average low for the day ranges from 22 Celsius or 72.5 Fahrenheit in January up to about 23 Celsius or 74.1 Fahrenheit in April, only about a 2 degree difference Fahrenheit. Those are your nighttime temperatures. So it cools down a little bit at night. The rainy season is September through November. The dry season is January and February. The rest of the year is moderate rain. We find ourselves living the siesta lifestyle here in Malacca. Do your outside activities in the morning and in the evenings, and during the middle part of the day when it's hot outside, just relax indoors in your AC or even take a nap. Okay, things to do. Typical medium-sized town stuff, movies, malls, long walks in the colonial area, some live music at night, many restaurants to check out. There's beautiful old architecture here to admire and a bunch of really nice people. There are 2 large outdoor markets here, including the biggest on Yonkers Street. Okay, social considerations. There are a bunch of English-speaking people here, it seems like. We saw signs for cooking classes, art classes, and dancing classes. The Facebook Malacca webpage has 69 members, but not very active. I would call this medium. The things to do and social considerations are medium. Real estate, you can get a beautiful newer home here for about 100,000 US, and I mean big and nice, so it's pretty cheap real estate wise, cheaper than KL. If you're finding any value here, could you please like it, comment, or share, or subscribe? Your simple act of kindness will move us up in the Google and YouTube search rankings so our business can grow faster. Okay, Malacca desirability score overall. This would be a great place, I would say high. This would be a great place for people that are most comfortable in a medium-sized city. If you want a bigger cosmopolitan place, it's not going to be for you. But that's probably not. This is probably so it would fit. This would fit well for most retirement-minded people. I would think most of them are not interested in large cities. I might be a little different in that way. Okay, please subscribe to Vagabond Buddha or our YouTube channel to find all the best places to live or visit around the world. I've been to 65 countries so far. Started in 2007, and I keep posting and writing Retire Cheap reports, and I will keep you informed. Okay, Malacca cost of living. There's a table here on the web page. It talks about each item and what it costs and how many times per month you might use it. And the living cost here ranges from about $400 per month to about $1,050 per month. This estimate cost of living for 1 month for one person as a temporary visitor. You might be able to save a little on rent if you come here and live full time. It only includes rent, 2 meals per day, and local transportation. I usually have oatmeal for breakfast in the morning, so I don't count that. For a full understanding of what it costs you to live here, visit numbeo.com and add any items to our table that you like to spend money on. Never move anywhere until you've visited first personally to verify the living costs for your lifestyle and needs. I'm not guaranteeing this range of prices for you. These are just my notes and estimates from the time of my visit and posts. Your costs will likely be drastically different depending on your lifestyle and the time that you show up here to do your research. The above numbers are for one person and do not include alcohol, tours, or extra. And there's a link here, how the cost of living table works. If you're having trouble understanding it, you can read this link. It gives examples and teaches you how. Please book using our links to recommended flights, tours, or accommodations. You'll pay nothing extra, but we'll earn a small commission. Your kindness will encourage us to keep making these travel guides and videos. Okay, best area to stay in Malacca. There's a map here on the web page. I put a nice big red ring around so you can see. If you're a cultural explorer, your first day in Malacca should be in the big red circle above. This is where most of the action, the history, the places of interest are located. This is the colonial area. I've marked where to stay, and there's a link to a Google map here, so you can find your way into this area. As I say, we only came to Malacca for we thought we only came for 4 nights. We ended up extending 10 days with an Airbnb. We found ourselves enjoying it so much. We didn't want to spend any time in taxis or local buses, so we got like I said, we got the cheap hotel here for the first 4 days. It was $15 a night, and then when we got the Airbnb, it was about $20 a night. It has AC, Wi-Fi, free tea and coffee, but no breakfast. It was so close to everything, we walked everywhere. For us, it was totally safe night and day. Plus, the red circle was full of delicious cheap food, both veggie for me and meat for Chung Hoi. I've made a recommendation below at each price point, places to stay. The following recommendations within the circle go from most to least expensive. After that, I'll tell you where we stayed. There's a beautiful hotel here you can stay in at a higher price point. There's a medium hotel at a medium price point, and there's a low-end hostel, actually just a hostel. They're all low-end, aren't they? I mean, cheap anyway, that you could pick. So there's the three price points for you. And then there's a link to the hotel we stayed in for $15 a night, which we found quite pleasant. We ended up staying another week, as I say, or 10 days, and we stayed in an Airbnb link provided. I don't recommend paying a quoted rate when you're staying for a month in an Airbnb, or even for 10 days for that matter. We got our place for around $20 a night. Often we make significantly lower offers, 20 to 30% discounts on 10 or so different properties, and one or more of those are usually accepted. If you're new to Airbnb, there's a code here you can use for a big discount. Just doesn't You can use that. That's usually like a $30, $40, $50 discount. If you're enjoying this, could you please like it, share it? As I said, it'll rank us higher and help our business. Okay, cheapest flights to Malacca. We almost always get our cheapest flights on Skyscanner. They have a web crawler that is constantly looking for the cheapest prices all around the world. And as usual, in this case, found my cheap flight to KL, and we ended up taking the bus into Malacca here. Best guided tours of Malacca. There are 2 tour sources I recommend in Malacca. This means these are tour aggregators, which means that people can add their tours to these. So in addition to price, you want to make sure that there's some reviews, and so you get some social proof before you book one of these. You should also check both links provided here to make sure that you're getting the best rates. Sometimes they're in both these tour companies. Okay, Malacca Old Town Walking Tour. There's a video here you can watch of our Old Town Walking Tour. There's a digital nomad video so you can see the restaurants we went to and some of our favorite things around town. And then there's a nightlife tour. So there's 3 videos you can watch so you get a real feel for what it's like to be here. And there I was walking around town talking and whatnot. Just come to the webpage and watch those videos. And so Malacca Old Town Walking Tour is usually the oldest part of Malacca is the most interesting. The old part of these colonial towns is what's most interesting. It's full of colonial era buildings, street art, and history. If you enjoy the video here, just click the link and you can go on the walking tour. And I'm not going to go over the best spots here to see in Malacca, but just come to the webpage, watch the walking tour video, see where we're recommending as must-sees, and if it looks fun, take the walking tour, or just come watch it to see if you like the downtown area, along with the other videos here. Okay, Malacca Nightlife Tour, Bar Hopping Tour. There's a video here of our nightlife walking tour. If it looks fun, there's a map here. Just click the map and go on the walking tour. Just like the Old Town Walking Tour, there's a nightlife walking tour. And it's the places we found that were the most fun here in Malacca. Okay, as I said, there's a video of our favorite restaurants. You can watch that also. Digital Nomads, Life and Food Experiences. And then there's our 5 favorite restaurants here in town, and they're marked with $1 sign if they're really cheap, and $2 signs if they're a little more expensive. We didn't really eat any tourist restaurants, so the most we paid, I think, was $5 a meal while we're in town here. Okay, Vagabond Buddhist Kitchen. The food was really cheap here, so we didn't eat out much. We maybe had, mostly we just made salads. We went to a Tesco shopping center and picked up a bunch of salads and nuts and fruits and ate a lot of salads and fruits. And when we ate warm food, mostly we were going out for that. The Tesco, you have to take a grab taxi to it. Link provided here. It's about $2 each way to go there, and the food is maybe 20 to 30% cheaper than in the West. And alcohol is not any cheaper. In fact, it's probably more in Malaysia than, say, the US or Europe. Quite a bit more than Europe, in fact, because there's a lot of taxes on alcohol here. Okay, Malacca Facts and History. Here's some interesting facts about Malacca from Wikipedia. Malacca became one of the earliest states in what we now call Malaysia. Originally, it was a simple fishing village inhabited by the orang lat. They lived and traveled on their boats and inhabited the coast from Myanmar down to Singapore. A Hindu ruler named Parameswara showed up here in 1402. He established Malacca at that time. The history of the area is a bit murky, but either Parameswara or his eldest son converted to Islam after taking an Islamic wife. However, historians seem to agree that Islam was the official religion established by law in Malacca by the 1440s. Parameswara established relations with the Ming Dynasty of China in 1403. The Ming Dynasty provided protection from Siam or Thailand and from Majapahit or Java. The alliance established Malacca as a major trade port worldwide, the alliance with China. The Vietnamese attacked Malacca in 1469. They killed many Malaccans and castrated and enslaved the young. Malaccans did not fight back because they knew the Vietnamese were also a Ming Dynasty protectorate. Word did not reach the Ming Dynasty for over 1 year. At that time, the Ming Dynasty warned the Vietnamese to leave Malacca alone and gave Malaccans consent to defend themselves should the Vietnamese attack again. Malacca continued to grow and trade in world stature. Eventually, 80 languages were spoken in Malacca, and it was known as the Venice of the East. The wealth eventually drew the attention of the Portuguese. The Malay Sultanate ended in 1511 when the Portuguese arrived and murdered all of the Muslims living here at the time. This was during the period when Christians and Muslims were murdering each other in many parts of the world. The Portuguese allowed the other ethnicities to continue with their life here, mainly Chinese and Indians and the original people. The Portuguese rule was successful, but they were unable to sustain the worldwide economic trade that existed at the time of their invasion. The trade was dispersed to other ports in the regions as bitter warfare continued in this area. The Dutch were able to take Malacca from the Portuguese in 1641 with the help of the nearby Malay Sultan of Johor. The Dutch ruled Malacca from 1641 to 1798, but continued using the Dutch port of Batavia, or Jakarta now, as their trade center. The Dutch landmarks here survive today in Malacca. The Dutch exchanged Malacca for Bencoolen of Sumatra with the British in 1824. The British ruled Malacca from 1824 to 1942. Singapore and Penang were added in 1832 when the British took additional land from a local chief. The British rule of Penang, Singapore, and Malacca became known as the Straits Settlement at that time. The Japanese occupied the Straits Settlement during World War II when British fled Southeast Asia to fortify their power in Europe to fight Germany. After World War II, Malacca and Penang became part of the Federation of Malaya in 1948. This eventually led to the independence of Malaya in 1957. Malacca was named a World Heritage Site by UNESCO in 2008. If you're interested in the subject of present moment awareness, my new videos on that subject are now being posted at my new Present with Vagabond Buddha YouTube channel. The older videos are still on Vagabond Buddha channel's Presence playlist. Please subscribe to Vagabond Buddha or our YouTube channel to watch us move around the world. 65 countries so far. This is Dan of Vagabond Buddha. Thank you for stopping by. The world is your home. What time will you be home for dinner?